Good evening, Minnesota Twins fans. Hey, for the third straight night, we've got a new episode of Twins Spotlight. Tuesday night, we chatted with Xander Wheel. Last night, we talked with Blaine Enlow. And tonight, we're going to be joined by another guest, one you definitely are aware of, one who's been a guest on the show before. But before we get started, first, I want to thank you for watching. If you're watching live on Instagram, on Facebook, Twitter, Periscope, YouTube, please feel free to participate. Send us questions, send us comments, whatever you like, and we can pop some of those up on the screen. I've already asked for questions on Twitter and have half dozen already. So let's make it a fun show. But first, before we get started, wanted to touch on a couple of things. First, just yesterday, there was a press conference by the Twins to let the media know that Twins bench coach Mike Bell has been diagnosed with kidney cancer. Early or mid-January. He has had surgery and he's at home with his family recovering. Certainly, according to Rocco Baldelli, sounded optimistic, but obviously a scary situation. Baldelli described it as emotional for a lot of people on those coaching staff and in the front office. So obviously, we've certainly wished the best for Mike Bell and his family. The other news, they had a press conference this morning to announce the retirement of Brian Dozier, which was pretty cool. Obviously drafted by the Twins in 2009 as a senior sign out of Southern Mississippi. Not necessarily a big prospect, but he turned himself into a pretty good ball player. It was fun to listen to Terry Ryan talk about how he watched him at Elizabethton, Beloit, and Fort Myers, and he didn't hit any home runs. And now he was talking about a shortstop with no power and very little, not really a burner. And a couple of years later, he was hitting over 40 home runs in the big leagues. So on a personal level, Brian Dozier's a guy I got to know back in 2011 when he was the choice for Twins Minor League Hitter of the Year. Just a fantastic person. Had the opportunity to introduce my daughter to him at Twins Fest a couple of years ago. She got her picture taken with him. And I've told the story before, but after we did that, we were at the Diamond Awards, and she put her head on my chest, and I thought she was just tired. It was late at night, and I looked down and kind of put my arm around her, and she looked up at me, and she had tears in her eyes. And I said, "Hey, are you okay? Are you just tired?" And she goes, "This is the greatest day of my life," which is pretty cool for an 11-year-old, So, those kind of stories, I think a lot of people in Minnesota have heard those, have probably had your own. So, again, congratulations to Brian Dozier. Played 7 years in the big leagues with the Twins, hit 167 homers, was an all-star, a Gold Glove winner, and a true leader, I think, on a lot of those teams. Definitely 2015, you looked at him and Torrey Hunter, and I think you learned a lot from Torrey about leadership, even though he was kind of a natural leader if you talk to a lot of his teammates. Just again, congratulations to him. He's retired, home, living with his wife, and they have 2 young kids, and he's got some plans for the future. So, again, congratulations. But with that, we're going to bring in our guest for tonight. And, again, he's been a guest before. You know him, Royce Lewis, Twins prospect, shortstop prospect. I got a bunch of pictures up here from spring trainings, last year in the big league spring training camp, a lot of backfield stuff in Cedar Rapids. Finished 2019 with the Fort Myers. Oh, he finished with the Pensacola. Can't talk tonight. Pensacola Blue Wahoos. That's easy for me to say. And then in 2020 was obviously spent his summer in St. Paul at the Twins alternate site. So, he's been a guest on many podcasts, always great with his time, very humble. He was recently on a Twins Spotlight that we talked a bit about Torrey Hunter with his former teammate, close friend Jock Jones, Royce, and also Nico Guardato, the son of Twins Hall of Famer Eddie Guardato, and an actor in his own right. So with that long introduction, Royce has been sitting there patiently. Let's bring him into the conversation. Royce, how are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Sorry for all that intro, but there's been a lot of news, and obviously with spring training coming, actually pitchers and catchers reporting today, hopefully we get a lot more baseball news. But let's start out with this. We talked about the Mike Bell situation. I understand you just heard that a couple days ago as well. You probably got to know him a little bit maybe last year at spring training. Just any thoughts on that to start out with?
Yeah, tough news. You never want to hear anything about anyone going through something like that. And, Mike's a fighter. He's going to get through it. And I know I'm praying for him every day. And, for Mike and me, we had a great relationship in terms of, getting to know him, like you said, for the few weeks I was up there in big league camp last year. And, he's just a great person, very genuine. He truly wants to see players develop and get better and be the best that they could possibly be. And he was almost like that great cuddly bear. He's just such a good, nice, soft person, man. It was just great to have him in the clubhouse, and I was excited to hopefully continue to be coached by him. So we'll see him soon.
Yeah, and I think I don't think I said it before. It sounds like he'll miss spring training, but hopefully be back with the team at some point during the season. So we certainly hope for that. Now, I also mentioned Brian Dozier. I know he wore number 2 because he was a big Derek Jeter guy growing up. So you've talked a little bit about Jeter as well, but you were drafted in 2017. He was traded from the organization in 2018. I don't know if you ever had a chance to really meet Brian Dozier, but have you had any interactions with him or on his retirement?
I didn't get any interactions with him, unfortunately. I was very, very young at the time, but no, from everything I've heard and everything I've seen, obviously on the field, such a great person, great player, great teammate, and like Tori always says, he must have been real tired from the game, not retired, just real tired. But it was a great career he had, definitely.
Yeah, no doubt about that. So let's start talking about you, because that's really what we're here for. We're already 7 minutes in, and we need to do that. But we'll start by, again, we want comments, whether it's on Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube. We already have a comment from Corey Canada. Royce, nice guy. I mean, I tend to agree. I don't know.
Yeah, Corey, man.
You seem like that.
Yeah, Corey's the best, man.
All right, that might be a little insider kind of thing here we got going. But let's talk a little bit about your offseason. You're still in Texas. You were named a non-roster flight again. Another big league camp for you. Last year was a little weird, but you excited to head down and being in Texas, hopefully you can get there safely.
Yeah, of course. Like you just said, the weather's a little tough right now. So, but fortunately enough, it's starting to warm up and get a little bit better. So I'm able to fly out there tomorrow, and very excited to start the season, man. Get going.
Yeah, no doubt. Like I said, you've been there before. Is it easier to go back now? I think this is your 3rd time. Do you feel more comfortable going there, or is there still that antsiness or anxiety or excitement to get there?
Yeah, it's just always excitement. I'm always very comfortable. It's baseball. These are just teammates. If anything, I'm too comfortable. I'm excited to go meet players that I've looked up to for years and watch play. And I remember watching Nelson Cruz play in the World Series against the Cardinals and just go off in Texas all the time. And now he's in our clubhouse, and I got the chance to meet him for the last couple of years here. And he's just been such a great mentor to not only me, but a bunch of other young cats like myself. And there's just more people to meet every year. And this year it seems like I'm going to be attached to Simmons' hips. So that'll be very fun for me.
Well, and that's one thing I think that that came up in the Andrelton Simmons press conference. And, we were asked, or someone asked Rocco Baldelli about your comments regarding being excited to learn from Simmons. And obviously Baldelli spoke very highly of you and how that says a lot of you and wanting to learn and get better. But, as you're sitting out there at shortstop, maybe taking ground balls with him, are you going to be asking questions? Are you going to be watching his feet, his hands? How do you anticipate that interaction?
Yeah, first of all, I want to go up there and meet him and, say, hey, I'm Royce Lewis, man. I just love watching you play. Really admire the way you play the game. If there's any way, I can just continue to bother you. And if I'm bothering you too much, just push me away, tell me to go away or something. But it's one of those things where you just kind of watch, you can soak in a lot when you just watch and listen, man. That's, God gave you 2 ears, 2 eyes for a reason, only one mouth. So obviously it means a lot to just watch and listen and learn from this guy. Cause I'm sure that, from everything I've heard from Torii Jr. and some of the Angels players that I've played against and talked to, he really just teaches on his own. So it's one of those things where it's just gonna be really easy and just naturally just go out there and continue to take ground balls with him, man. It'll be very, very exciting.
I've got a few questions for you before we get to my about 7 or 8 questions that I got on Twitter. And again, welcome any questions anyone's got here as well. We really haven't talked. We've talked, but I don't think we've done so publicly about your experience at the alternate site in St. Paul last year. Briefly, just kind of describe a typical day. And then when we talked to Xander Wheel the other day, he said the tough part was the mental side. Baseball was baseball, but to be done and have to just go back to your hotel made it pretty tough. So, kind of what kept you occupied?
For me, it's pretty easy. I've been doing that since I got drafted, just being basically in a room by yourself or with a teammate. You go to the field, you come home and talk on the phone, just play video games. It's all very similar. So it's pretty much my life. It feels like very much like a college athlete almost without the homework. So for me, it's just like it's very similar to a college experience. That's the best way I could describe it to people without all the homework. So it's really a fun experience. I'm going to the field, having a great time, and then I come home, walk home with some of these other players who obviously were able to hang out together because we're all COVID tested, every single day or every other day at that point. And we felt comfortable being with only each other in our hotel rooms, which is very secluded from the public. And man, we play FIFA tournaments, we play PGA tournaments on the PlayStation. So we literally had a great time. And for me, the mentality and keeping it sane was just my goals, my focus, my drive to continue to better myself in my game, because I went there with a purpose. My purpose was, I'm going to continue to work hard and grow each and every day. And if I get the call up, that's obviously an amazing thing I'd love to happen. But if I don't, then I'm here. I'm going to keep growing. A lot of other people would love to be in my position. And that's kind of how I always looked at it, because there was a lot of guys, a lot of my buddies, especially, who unfortunately were either, unfortunately released or not able to be at their alternate site, wishing they could be there. So I never, put my head down or got depressed about it. I was just always thrilled to be there and in the moment. Oh, I think you're muted there real quick, Seth. I lost you.
No. I
There
did.
you are.
I didn't unmute. So I like that point, and not taking it for granted. But I do have a question from Tom from Twins Daily, who basically asks, who was the nastiest pitcher to face at the alternate site last summer? And there were some good ones.
Yeah, for me, it's got to be Odorizzi. I got a chance to face him twice, and he was smiling. He threw me a little ephus ball kind of thing. I don't know what that was, but it was definitely below 60 miles an hour, and it definitely threw me off. And I was able to laugh, chuckle, and say, "What is that?" before the catcher caught it. So definitely an ephus or something. And it was almost like Greinke when he throws that really slow curveball. It was really funny, and we get a good laugh out of it. But he also was very tough at bat when he was really trying to throw and dominate. So.
For sure. I want to talk about, what you kind of learned about or what you worked on at that time. I have a question also from Matt. Has the team told you whether they prefer you at shortstop or center field? And do you have a preference? Now, we've talked and they had you 100% at shortstop. So clearly that's their answer, at least today. But, how do you, when you hear that preference question, I know you've talked about wanting and being good with being versatile. So how do you balance that?
Yeah, I just want to be the best player and person that I could be at all times. And in terms of my game, I think you see Javier Baez, you see, Chris Bryant. There's a ton of players that are able to move around and dominate at multiple positions. And I think that's the definition of a true athlete and a true baseball player. Just my opinion. But I truly believe I could do that. I proved it kind of in the fall league there. I literally had one error, and it was at shortstop. So it was actually funny. I got 7 innings at shortstop. I made the one error. But I played everywhere else. I played second, third, center field, no errors, nothing crazy. And I know I could play those positions, so it's not really a worry to me. But every time I've talked and spoken with the Twins, even before I went out to the fall league and played other positions, they reiterated and continue to reiterate the fact that you're a shortstop. We look at you as a shortstop, and that's what we're going to continue to focus on each and every day.
I do want to ask you about that somewhat, though, because, I don't know if everyone knows that in your high school career, you actually played, I think, the first 3 years at third base.
Yeah.
Which, again, was a situation where, hey, where's the need? That kind of thing. So would you say you feel comfortable in the infield? Do you feel comfortable in center? Would you say you feel comfortable wherever you're put?
Yeah, I feel comfortable playing baseball, man, except for maybe on the mound. But even then, I got a nasty curveball, but that's about it. So it's one of those things where I just love playing the game. And, And honestly, when you go out to some other positions, sometimes it makes you realize how much fun the game is again. And it's like being a little kid playing wiffle ball in the backyard with all your buddies or something. You just go out there and you play and you pretend like, oh, I'm gonna be Ichiro up here at bat or something. And it's just really fun to emulate other people and play your game and have fun.
And we talked a little bit about the defense. I have a question here from JD. Any specifics that you're comfortable sharing about working on your swing last summer at the alternate camp? Was there, some of that adjustment happening, or were you just trying to get at bats and, get experience?
Yeah, I was just trying to build off of what I did in the fall league, and then what I did in spring training. I felt really comfortable, especially in the big league camp when I faced some really nasty pitchers, Hyunjin Ryu, Blake Snell, just for a couple, examples for a fact there. But yeah, honestly, my swing feels really good right now. I've continued to work on because I feel like I have power to the opposite field, and I've continued to work on driving the ball to all fields. And I think the only problem I continue to notice, from the years past has been just me pulling off the ball or opening my hips before. So those sliders down the way obviously cause trouble. But even fastballs, anything on the outer half of the plate was causing trouble to where either my timing was off, which that's going to naturally happen. And, no one's perfect. That's why 300, 3 out of 10 times is an amazing hitter. Right. But if I can just shorten that up a little bit more and become, 1 out of the 10 better, that makes me a better player, a better person, and to continue to grow there. So
For sure.
just staying on the ball, man.
Yeah. So that kind of leads into I was trying to navigate the conversation toward this question, which comes from Andy. How do you think you have improved during this particular off season, or what were some of the things you worked on this off season? Again, having had the experience at the alternate site, looking forward to this coming season.
Yeah, I think toughest part to work on was being able to throw each and every day. My shoulder, trying to keep that safe. I think that's the main thing for me that I've learned each and every spring training is there's always something different I learned and continue to grow on. But this spring training, I wanted to be ready to throw day one and not, all right, I'm going to start getting loose and hopefully I'll be ready in a week or so, my arm. And it's not like it wasn't healthy. It was just more of like it's sore or tightness. And that's general tightness that most players get if you just kind of show up and start throwing. If you tell Tom Brady to not throw for 3 months and then have him start throwing, he's going to be a little sore, especially at his age. But the whole point of that is just to stay healthy. And I think that's one thing I wanted to improve on this year was to be ready day one, which I feel like I am already and very excited for that. But another thing is just been my hitting. I've continued to work with Torrey and Torrey Hunter Jr. And Torrey Jr. and I have a little running joke that we're going to come out spooky this year. So it's very fun.
So I want to ask you about that a little bit is, you're in Texas, you're working with Torrey and Torrey Jr. And Torrey's a guy that I think early in his career did struggle in the same way with that slider down and away. Michael Kadire struggled with that pitch. Those guys turned out pretty okay too over the course of their career too. But in your times working with them, both of them, because again, you're getting 2 more different perspectives. What are some of the teachings going on there, or do they try to just let you be?
No, we're there to work. So it's definitely there to continue to learn and continue to grow. Even on some, you may have some great swings mixed in there because all of us do. We always catch one. Every squirrel finds a nut every once in a while, right? But it's one of those things where we're just continuing to learn and how do we continue to make this, very consistent swing and a very consistent approach. And then how do we continue to learn, kind of pitches and reading them, recognizing pitches beforehand and guessing in certain counts because it's okay to do that. And, there's just a ton of things we can go over just to kind of sum it up. Those are a few, but literally every time I go over there, it seems like I'm tweaking something small, just adding little cues. Like, hey, let's try this today. If it doesn't work, obviously we'll put it back in the trash can, just forget about it in one ear, out the other. But yeah, it's been really fun. And it's always, that's probably the best part about this game, especially. And you just continue to advance and grow. And there's never a time where you're like, yep, I'm good. I'm happy. I'm set. Especially when you hear Torrey Hunter talk about how Mike Trout still continues to get better. And you're talking about the guy that's obviously getting paid the most and definitely plays like the best player in the game. So if he's still working on things, then I definitely have a lot to work on.
Yeah, it's again another great perspective. Again, we're talking to Royce Lewis. For those of you that are listening on the podcast later, just so you remember, of course, you clicked into this link knowing that that's who we were talking to. So I didn't need to tell you that. But again, anyone watching on Twins Daily, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, feel free to send in some questions. So far, it's been a lot of fun, and we'll continue to ask away. So. We got another question here I wanted to ask you as well. This is from Colton.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I've got a few questions here, so bear with me as I find the right ones. He says, "Hey, Royce, what are some key things, such as certain workouts, drills, etc., that have helped you get to where you are now?" And then he adds, "Good luck. Can't wait to see you play this year."
Well, thank you. First of all, thank you. Nice to meet you, Colton. Thanks for being on here. Honestly, there's no particular key workout or, not even any little things that I just continue to do. It's just every year continue to grow based on, what I saw last year, how I felt last year. Maybe I could get better at this or that. And that's, my dad has always told me that you can always get better. And what is the thing you want to get better on this offseason? What's the next offseason? Every offseason you come back and say, okay, well, I didn't hit that slider down the way very well. Okay, let's go attack that this offseason. And then the next year you might come back and say, hey, you know what? I want to make sure my arms are prepared to be ready for season day one, not week 2 or 3. So there's always something I can grow on, and but there's no in particular certain thing that I like to do other than hit, throw, and have fun playing the game of baseball, man.
Let's talk briefly. I know on your YouTube page, which we do have a question here from Rick that says, "When are you going to upload more videos to your YouTube page?" But one of your videos was kind of a MTV Crib style look around your house, and you've talked about your garage, and you added the batting cage, but you've got a lot of stuff in there. Kind of walk us through. I mean, a typical day in the off season. Do you start lifting? Do you hit there? Kind of what goes into that morning workout or afternoon, whenever you do it.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely going to be some more uploads soon. It's one of those things. I just wanted to make it more professional. I'm trying to get a professional camera person going, and I'm excited to say that I got someone in mind, and we're planning on working very soon here. But obviously, with the season getting ramped up, my main focus is to play baseball and continue to grow there, and hopefully make it to the big leagues and help out the big league team as much as possible. But in terms of the house and the garage, man, yeah, it's just day in the life, very simple. You just wake up, eat breakfast, whatever you got to do, and then if it's cold like it is, I got a heater out there. If it's maybe warm up the garage right now, and then go out there and get my stretches in. Whether it's just my arm, shoulder care stuff beforehand, or if it's my leg day, I'll just run on the little Versa climber I got now, and just very excited about all the workouts I have. And the best way I could say that it gets described is I go in there and prepare for whatever it's an upper body, lower body, or shoulder care routine, and I'm about to throw. And I got the cage in there so I can hit and throw in there, which is very nice. And that's an easy way to put it. But I got to save can't give away all the details. I got to save some for when I create that YouTube content.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, go to youtube.com and search Royce Lewis and subscribe. Also subscribe to Twins Daily on YouTube. I'm going to throw that out there as well.
Hey.
So. I have a question here from a Twins Daily writer named Matt Lenz. It says, "Who is your favorite Twins Daily writer?" Let's not make you answer that one. So,
yeah, I don't know. I don't know all of them, but I only know Seth. Seth's been amazing, man. I just appreciate the time always, and you're very respectful. So thank you very much.
Well, and since that question was teed up perfectly by Matt Lenz, we're going to go to his question next. Do you have any superstitions?
I get asked this all the time. I'm very OCD, so I don't know if it's superstitions, but it's like little things. Like I like having my gloves lined up a certain way in my locker, all my shirts. I like having a very organized locker. I like having a very organized life. So I don't know if it's superstitious of me to do certain things, but I don't wear the same underwear every game or same boxers like that. Nothing like that. Not the same jock strap. Nothing crazy, but. Honestly, I just go out there and play every day. I have a routine that I do every day, but it's not necessarily a superstition. It's just, a thing that gets me ready to play each and every day, whether that's stretching before, eating a meal before at a certain time, whatever that is.
Yep. I'm going to put this up there. I think the question was already answered before. Kevin Peterson asks, have you spent any time working at other positions in the field? I know that's a popular question because the Twins only have so many available positions at any given time. So I know that people want everyone to play everywhere so you can get called up anytime. And that's what you want too. But yeah, I'd encourage you to go back and listen. He's been working pretty much primarily at shortstop. I'm going to just keep going with questions. I mean, normally we don't get this many. So these are kind of all over the place, Royce. So,
No worries. No worries. Love it.
Seb asks, have you added any more sneakers to your collection since Twins?
Oh.
I can't remember what number you had then, but have you added any more?
Yeah, of course. Every off season, it seems like if I'm at home and I'm just chilling, it's definitely gonna go on the computer and get some Adidas merch. Shout out Adidas; they've been great and very nice to me, and I love working with them. I got another 3 years with them, which is amazing. And yeah, definitely some more shoes. I'll start putting it out there on my Instagram. If you go end up following me there, I'll start putting some out there each and every day for you guys.
All right. And if you've noticed down on the bottom of the screen, you can see Royce's Instagram. So be sure to follow him on there as well. Hashtag 3-Stripe Life, right?
That's right. That's right. Yeah, they've been amazing, man. Truly.
That's awesome. I'm just going to keep going down the list. Andy asks, is your mom still making and selling the humility chains? And the follow-up to that is, has she sold any to other players? Because he keeps swearing that he sees them on TV on various players.
Yeah, we are definitely most definitely selling. I swear she gets a sale every time I'm around her. I hear the little buzz, and I know it's a sale, which is awesome. And we're truly blessed to have that opportunity. And we have a lot of fun going through it, and it's mainly her thing, which is awesome. It was her idea all the way. I told her I wanted a Derek Jeter similar style necklace that was that black diamond sparkly kind of look, and she was able to find a way to make it and make it cheaper. So instead of $4,000 to $8,000, it was $35. So I think it was a very great deal there. But yeah, we sell to a lot of players. A couple examples are Jared Kelenic. These are some top prospects that I know of that are currently wearing them and wear too, actually, which is awesome. And it's very, very pleasing and humbling to us that they're able to wear our stuff. Jordan Adele is a big advocate of it. Hunter Green is also one. And these are just some buddies of mine that I know that are prospects that are going to be up in the big league soon, making a very, very big impact on their team, and have already done so in terms of Joe Adele. But there's a lot more guys out there I know that are wearing stuff, and I just don't know all the names. I know Christian Javier, who pitched for the Houston Astros in the postseason, was wearing some. So there's a lot of players, man. I don't want to go down the list. It's long, but we're very blessed to have them all, and we're very excited that they are wearing our jewelry.
No, that's absolutely fantastic. And actually, Seb comes in here with a follow-up. Have you gotten any new ones, or what is your what's your shoe that you really like to go to? And I know you made the comment that you actually wear them all. It's not like it's just a collection. You actually wear them.
Yeah, I wear them all, man. And right now I'm in the house, so I'll take it off. I got on some UGG slippers. These are from my grandma, man. My grandparents got me these, and they're very awesome, very durable. But since I'm around the house and it's getting dark, and I'm just kind of chilling right now, I'm not wearing any kind of shoes, but I got the Uggs on right now. But I guess you could count those into my collection.
All right, let's continue here. No superstitions we've already asked. Here's a good one. Andy, again, it's a follow-up or a question. Do you study pitchers? If so, how far ahead of scheduled matchups will you look at tape? Anyone in specific you've been looking at? I mean, have you spent the offseason doing any of that?
Yeah, it was great. That's actually a great question. Appreciate your question, Andy. Thank you. Torrey Hunter and I actually had to sit down last week before the snow really started coming down here in Texas. And, we went to the patios and we went to La Finca at the patios, his little spot that he owns there. And, man, it was great. We looked at video for probably an hour, and it was amazing. We're just continuing to learn, and there's not anyone in specific that I'm trying to learn from at this moment, because in the minor leagues, it's hard to get a read on who you're going to face. And a lot of guys get called up, called down. So guys are coming in and out. It's hard to plan in advance who you're going to face. But I know Torrey and I have been talking about it a lot and asking him what he did and how he studied pitchers. He would say that, and obviously when you're in the big leagues, Justin Verlander is going to pitch, and you're going to face the Astros. a couple weeks in advance. He said he would look probably the series before or that flight when they're making their flight to Houston, or when they have that night off and Houston's flying in for the next day. He's able to look at those pictures and look at all the full bullpen guys and try to see if he gets any kind of tips from them. If they flare their glove, if they shake, if they have their tongue sticking out. I mean, there's such little details, but they mean a lot to you. And if you know what's coming, and it's not cheating, it's not like you're banging on a trash can like that bad team did, unfortunately. But it's just a natural thing. Some guys blow a bubble of gum. They'll be chewing gum and they'll blow a bubble before they're going to throw fast. It's like little things. Some guys will chew harder on their gum if they're chewing gum. Literally little things. Some guys will wipe their hand on their pants before they throw a fastball. And if you can get a telltale sign of he's going to throw a fastball here, and the guy throws 99, and like he was saying, and you're 38, 39 years old, and you're still able to turn it around, and they're wondering, how you turning that around? It's like, man, I was watching film, man, he gave it away. And so that's on the pitcher, not necessarily anyone telling them what's coming. And it's just little things like that we're trying to learn. And it's just, it's part of the game now, all the technology that we have. It's, the pitchers are using all the technology on us, so we might as well use it on them.
Sounds fair to me. I want to talk real quickly about your high school, J. Sarah Catholic High School in Southern California. You're from there, obviously, top pick in 2017. There seems to be, as I follow the draft and now know that name, it seems like there's 4 or 5 guys every year getting drafted out of there. I mean, I'm kind of at multiple questions. One, just tell me a little bit about the program and its strength and that kind of thing. But secondly, is Austin Hedges just kind of the guy that everyone looked up to at that point? And, do you know him? And obviously he's in the division now too.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. He got traded to the Indians, and now I'll be able to play against him hopefully one day. That's the dream and the goal. But yeah, it's he was definitely one of the guys we all looked up to when he came around the campus, when he came back from his, during his off seasons, and we had practices and he'd come hit BP with us. It was very cool to go hit with them sometimes in our BP groups, or just to watch him catch and to be able to catch his throwdowns to second base. Great player, great person. One of those things where you wish him the best in everything he does, man. So that was definitely someone that we looked up to. But I think what the strengths of Jace, I'm sorry, what?
Except against the Twins.
Except against the Twins, yes, sir, for sure. It was one of those things where the strengths of J. Sarah were Coach K, and I personally can say that because every year that team just continues to get better and better and grow. And, they have one of the best facilities, in my opinion, in the country, or in state at least. But I don't know about the rest of the country. I haven't obviously traveled around and seen some other high schools. But, man, I know it's definitely a top high school to go to. And it was definitely what kind of made me who I was today. It was a part of my life, and I'll never forget it.
Very good. Want to just kind of keep going for a few more minutes with questions if you've got time. I know, like I said, you're traveling tomorrow, so I don't want to keep you too long. But I want to kind of keep going with questions since we're actually getting. Matthew Taylor asks, hey, Royce, congrats on making it to another season. Have you gotten a chance to meet Angelton yet? And how big will it be to learn? And again, I know you talked about this a little bit earlier, but I mean, we are talking about one of the shortstops of the last 20, 30 years.
Yeah. I mean, no doubt. I have not got to meet him yet, not yet. But it'll come hopefully this week. I'm very excited, I'm excited to, first of all, test negative. That's the goal, first and foremost, and then be able to join all the rest of the guys out there on the field. And he'll be the first person I go up to in that clubhouse as soon as I see him. And I'm probably going to go up to him and introduce myself and, hopefully let him know I want to bother him, but not too much, and let him know that he can tell me to go away whenever he wants.
Now, he knows he said 4 1/4 or 4.5 languages. How many do you know so far?
One and a penny of Spanish. It's just mostly English, man. That's all I do. I can understand some of the Latin terminology in the language, but I just don't know how to speak it. So it's one of those things. I'm continuing to learn, but maybe he'll give me some French guidance out there at shortstop as well.
He made the comment that French was the one that he struggles with the most. Unless the Twins add someone from like Paris or something, he'll probably not use that one any more than he has to. Question from Kevin Peterson: what's your pregame routine?
Yeah, I just I like to go hit. Obviously, if we have BP on the field, then obviously I'll go do that. But then I have a little routine and occasions I like to do before we're off the tee, get the tee work done, and then go out. Let's say we take BP, I'll go out and take BP, come back inside, and if during BP I'll take usually the ground balls there, and if we don't have BP, then usually just kind of good on defensive work. I don't really tend to overwork myself before the games. I think we have a lot of games. Obviously, this sport we play the most games ever, so you want to make sure you're just staying healthy. And part of that routine is stretching before games or getting a workout in. It just depends on the day. Each and every day is different, but those are just some basic routines. And then getting the jersey on, putting those on, and sitting in my locker for about 10 minutes before I go out there is always my favorite. And listening to some music, man, that's just the coolest. Just to take in like man, I'm living the dream. I'm playing the game for a job and having so much fun doing it and continuing to grow and meeting all my, idols other than my parents and family. It's really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Great question, Kevin. I wanted to talk to you a little bit. I've asked you before about seeing teammates get called up to the big leagues. A lot of guys from that alternate site last year got called up. But I want to ask you a little bit about like Tyler Wells and Akil Badu got selected in the Rule 5 draft, which is a little different because who knows, they could be back in a month and a half. But I know you are close to both of those guys. Have you had conversations with them at all, or what's kind of that feeling when they go somewhere else to another organization?
Yeah, honestly, very excited for them both. I know it's a great thing. They're going to be, they're just making strides in their professional career, and it's exciting to see. Unfortunately, it has to be on other teams. It's one of those things where we grew up and played with each other for years. Not just 1 year, but multiple years. And Akil was the first person I ever met outside of, in pro ball and outside of off the field. He was my first friend, really, that helped me kind of mature, and we grew together. It was one of those things like he's my brother, man. It's exciting to see him go and further on his career, but it's so sad to see him leave and not be a part of the Twins organization. And whether he ends up making it on on the Tigers or not, and same with Tyler if he makes it on the Orioles or not, they're both very good positions to succeed in this game, and I'm very excited for both of them.
Yeah, you can't help but feel happy. All right, I'm going to limit this. I've got two more questions that I got from Twitter. We've got two more questions in the chat. We'll ask those, and then we'll let you go. And this one's kind of a long one, so I'll read it. From Jim Page, the Twins are predicted to have a big season, given a deep roster this year. Do you think there are bigger expectations for the Twins after a couple of years? Thank you, and bring on baseball.
Yeah, well, thank you for the question, Jim. Appreciate you being here. I never like to put pressure on anybody or even myself, other than the pressure that I put on myself. I think the Twins are going to have a great year, and it's just, yeah. I saw Dave Roberts had a message to the Dodgers. They asked him about how he thought about the Padres and all the moves they were making, and he mentioned something similar along the lines of you just got to focus on yourself at the end of the day. No matter how good or bad the other teams are and how interesting their moves that they make are. I mean, we could talk about the White Sox and how many moves they made this offseason, which bettered their team for sure. And they were a great team last year. They had a great run. It's definitely going to be a great rivalry to have for the next 5 to 10, whoever knows, many years, right? But they're definitely battling at the top of that division, and I think that the expectations are for them to just go out there and play their own game and play it the way that they normally do. And they have such great veteran leadership on that team, and Josh Donaldson, Nelson Cruz, and Taylor Rogers, and just to name a few, obviously. But they're going to be a great team, and as long as they stay healthy and continue to play their ball, they're going to dominate. So I'm very excited to always watch them. And I keep telling people, as soon as Buxton has a full healthy year, man, he's going to be an MVP. So just watch out.
Yeah, no question. No doubt about that. All right, this is a question from Twitter, and it's a multi-part question, admittedly. So I'm kind of putting you on the spot here, but the question came in from Nick. What teammates have you had that would make the best, first of all, manager?
Manager. Oh, man, that's a great question. Honestly, I think Joe Cronin. Joe Cronin would have been probably the first person I think of. He's always teaching. He's always continuing to learn. And he was a great coach to me personally. So I think Joe Cronin was one guy that I could think of right off the top of my head.
That's a good one. I don't know what bench coach means, but someone maybe that's really into the analytical, deep thinking side of the game.
I don't know. That's a tough question. There's a few, cats, mostly pitchers. Tough one there. I don't know. I don't have an answer for you at the moment. I'll have to think about that one.
All right. Do you know any maybe pitchers, but hitters maybe that would be good pitching coaches?
Hitters that would be good pitching coaches. I know a hitter that'd be a great hitting coach is Trevor Larnach, man. He knows how to dissect the baseball swing and really go into it and knows how to talk to you about your swing and dive deeply into it. I don't know anyone that'd be a good pitching coach. Honestly, I don't. I can't think about it. It's hard to see some of your teammates that are currently playing be coaches,
Yeah, I know. That is a weird one. And the last one there is family reunion guest.
What do you mean by that? Explain that further.
I don't know. Some teammate that you would want to bring to a family reunion.
Oh, okay. Family reunion. Oh, anybody. Keel Badu, Travis Blankenhorn, Alex Kirilloff, any of these guys, man. I mean, it's Trevor Larnach. All these guys are my homies, man. It's all fun and games. So Aaron Whitefield. I mean, I can literally name a whole Cedar Rapids team back in 2018 pretty much. So it doesn't matter who. Yeah,
that's legit though. I really feel like you're not just saying that. Like you guys really truly have bonded and really are that close. It's unusual that I've been following this for a long time and I haven't noticed that where everyone just is in it for each other.
Yeah, we have a great team chemistry and bond going, and all these youth guys are finally getting on the cusp of either called up or have made it a little bit. And I mean, it's just very exciting. And hopefully one day we'll all be officially on the same team and joining forces and finally dominating against other people together.
All right, here's one question, but asked kind of differently by two people. Matt Lenz asks, what's a hobby you enjoy outside of baseball? And Scott Subera asks, how do you unwind on your off time?
Yeah, there's a lot of things. I love playing video games. I love watching Netflix, movies, anything on TV, sports in general. I love watching any kind of games, especially if Tom Brady or LeBron James are playing in them. It's I think off season, let me think. Hobbies: golf, bowling, pretty much any other sport that I'm allowed to play. I love to travel. We're starting to do that now. I'm really into wine. I don't know if that's a hobby or just something I'm curious about learning. Obviously with my dad being a sommelier, it's very, very interesting to me stuff to learn. And we went to Napa Valley. That was fun. But those are just some ways that I like to unwind and chill and hang out in the off season.
I was going to say, I saw your Instagram pictures from Napa Valley. It looked like a great time, and it looked like you were definitely getting a perspective on the various options and could give your dad some ideas.
Yeah, there's a lot of options, and my dad is very, very wise with all the wines. It's very impressive to see, and the best way I can describe it is if you watch, Clayton Kershaw, any pitcher throw a no hitter, and you see how dominant and how facetious that is. That's what he does when he's working the floor at his restaurant. It's very cool to see. It's very awesome to hear him speak about the wine and about his job and what he loves to do, man. It's awesome.
Well, it's name drop. There's 3 locations of the winery, right?
Winery Restaurant Wine Bar, man. Thank you.
Where are they at?
In Tustin, La Jolla, and Newport Beach, California.
There you go. And you name dropped Torrey Hunter's restaurant. What was that again?
Tender Smokehouse, and then he's got a bunch of other places, man. La Finca Coffee, Maker's Gym is amazing, and it's not food, but it's an amazing place. Go check it out on their Instagram. But there's a lot of stuff going on. I'm just a walking marketing tool, man. That's what I am. So.
And then 3-stripe life again. So
That's right.
All right. This would have been my last question either way, but since JD asked it, we'll give him credit for it. What are your goals for the upcoming season? And I've asked this to the guys the last couple of nights too, but are you a guy that writes down your goals? Do you have goals, or it's you ended 2019 in AA. This year or last year you were in the alternate site. another big league spring training camp. Obviously, I guess one of them has to be to get to the big leagues. But do you jot them down, and what are maybe some of your goals if you're comfortable telling them or explaining them?
Yeah, I'm always comfortable. It's not no secret that my goal has always been to become a big league baseball player. But over the years, it's been I just want to make it to the big leagues. And I think with obviously growing and maturing, I think that in that process, I've learned that I don't want to just get there, because I've seen people go up there and get there, but they don't have long-term success. And I think the main goal is to get there and succeed. So that's my goal, is how am I going to be there to succeed, not just get there and show face and end up having to go back down or get replaced. That's never the goal. This is, again, not only is it fun and it's a dream, but it's a job. So at the end of the day, how can I, work and do the best, be at the best of my ability at this job each and every day, and for a long-term basis. I think that's my main focus, is to get there, but have success there for a long period of time. And how do I sustain that? That's pretty much my main goal right now. But every year I have a goal of obviously staying healthy, and controlling what I can control. And that's all I can really tell you right now. I don't really have a goal of, man, I want to bat 500 and this and that, because it's pretty impossible to do that probably. But obviously that'd be really cool. But no, my goal is just to work hard each and every day and grind out at bats and be competitive, man.
All right, I'm going to queue up one more screen to bring up here. And while I do that, I'm going to throw this question out there, because, I lie and have one more question always. But Corey asks, what do you like to collect?
Shoes, and hopefully in the future I'll be able to collect some jerseys or bats signed by teammates or guys that I loved and enjoyed watching play the game. I'll definitely have a glove signed up from Angelton pretty soon here. That'll be exciting. I think that'll be cool to have guys sign some gloves that I have, and just keep those stored away safely.
All right, and I'm going to pull this up here real quick. We are going to just, since we mentioned your dad's restaurant.
Oh, man, thank you.
The Etsy site. Go check out on Google, YouTube, on Google, search Humility Chain. Go to Etsy. You've got a million different types of options. They're absolutely fantastic. You can see they're very fairly priced, a great price. And I know that a lot of hard work and love goes into this product. So we're gonna promote your mom too, if you're good.
Thank you. I appreciate it so much, Seth, man. Yeah, you're the man. You're the best. Thank you so much. And yeah, man, Twins Daily has been great. I'll definitely promote you. I'm a walking marketing guy. I'm a billboard, man. So just anything you need, let me know. I got a lot of people to support, man. I love supporting everybody. So I even do Cameo, and sometimes I'll support on there. Some people will have me say certain things, so it's really fun for me to do that. But yeah, I appreciate the time, and I have nothing going on. I'm excited for spring. So if we have any more questions, you let me know. I'm excited.
Well, since you said that, we have one more from Andy. Teammate or former or current would be a great host of Jeopardy.
Great host of Jeopardy.
Is there that one guy that just knows the answer to everything? Not in like an arrogant way, but they're just this walking encyclopedia.
Ryan Mason, the pitcher, definitely knows. He knows a lot about a lot. So it's fun when you go up to him. He knows quite a bit. Obviously, graduating from Cal, very smart kid, man. But someone that'll be a great host. It's a great question. I think someone that would be a great answer getter person, the person to be on Jeopardy, would be Ben Rortvedt. I don't know how you'd say that, but Ben Rortvedt would be someone to be hilarious, man. He's just funny character. I don't know about a host. Maybe myself. Okay. I think I'd be a good host. I think
you'd be all right. I mean, you've talked about wanting to get into communications, maybe down the line somewhere. So
that's right. Yeah, something. So.
And Ben Rortvedt might be the strongest person or contestant ever. So, with that, I need to end this here, else we could talk all night, and I think it'd be fun. But you got tomorrow, and you got spring training to look forward to. But as always, I appreciate everything you do, and as accessible as you are, and obviously charismatic. It's fun to talk to you, and I mean, thank you to everyone. We had more questions this time than we probably had in 24 previous episodes of Twin Spotlight. So again, thank you.
Great questions.
Yeah, great questions. So Again, feel free to listen and follow Twins Daily on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. This will be up on the Twins Daily podcast, wherever you download podcasts in a little bit, shortly after we're done here. And most of all, just, again, thanks, Royce. Appreciate it. Have a great year. Hopefully I'll see you at some point, either in St. Paul or Minneapolis later this summer.
Thank you so much, Seth. Yeah, thanks for being respectful, man. This is always great time to be on here, man. It's always great questions, fun time for me. And yeah, hopefully next time we have these conversations, it'll be in a big league uniform or something.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Again, thanks everyone for listening. Have a great night. And of course, go Twins.
Go Twins.